It is a moral outrage. It is a challenge to us as black people.
As an entire generation of young black males are drowning in their own blood.
Can you imagine what it would be like if Dr. King came back and seen us in this condition?
Greg, I'll tell you, we have a serious cancer in our community. Only we can radiate it.
The problem is undeniable and yet easily describable: black on black crime. Blacks are less than half of the population of East Baton Rouge Parish, but last year were involved in 83% of the murders here. Some days they're the victims, some days the perpetrator.
We have to address it from the black community.
Prosecutor Tony Clayton witnesses the crumbling of the black community up close. In fact, over his career, he's helped put a great deal of black people on death row, far more than whites or anyone else.
Most of your defendants black?
I would say 99% of them are black.
How about most of the victims?
Black.
In the meantime, we are staying on top of a developing story this
A white police officer shoots a young black man in Ferguson, Missouri.
We don't want no backsliding. We want to know where justice is.
There are protests, marches, riots, and rallies. Even a rally right here in Baton Rouge. But this year, in Baton Rouge alone, we're looking at the killings of 51 black people, most of them by other black men, and some ask, where's the outrage over that?
We have a sickness in ourselves where we can see each other and kill ourselves, and we have to deal with that sickness first.
Silky Slim is a former gangster who gave his life to Christ, admittedly still not perfect, but well on the road to redemption with his Stop the Killing initiative. He calls some blacks hypocrites.
I look like a fool going up to the Department of Justice saying, I demand justice because that was a white officer that kills a black officer. And if they pull a statistic, what are they going to say? Well, it was 6,000 of y'all that killed each other last year, and I didn't see your face at all. So I put my face in the streets where they understand that this is a problem to me.
And he's out close to a first down.
For this group of friends, part of this day is spent just hoping Jimmy Graham gets the first down. When it comes to football, they are loud, but they could be louder. But one of their loudest is missing. Instead, he's here. And before the game, they were too, letting Shelby Holmes know he's not forgotten.
He did live each day to the fullest. So although it's sad, I can say it was a life well lived.
Who that? Who that? Who that says they're gonna beat them Saints?
Shelby Holmes, walking here along Braddock Street on his way home, and somebody shot him over and over again. They didn't rob him, they just shot him. Here we had an educated young black man known for doing what's right, and in his mostly black neighborhood, even a year later, still no witnesses, the so-called no snitching. You can't even hardly tell that such a likable man was killed here on Braddock.
And if I go out there and get killed tonight, you ain't gonna see nothing. That's a hypocrite. So we are in a world where there are many hypocrites that take opportunity and go out there and show their faces for the cameras. Oh, it's an injustice because it's somebody of a different race that have killed the individual, but you will watch us kill each other every day, and that's something that black folks don't like to talk about. That's something that they'll say, we don't need to talk about that right now. Let's focus on getting justice for this. And if we keep focusing on getting justice for that, we'll never ever solve this over here.
Victory, as he's now called, stopped before he got too far into the streets. 7 years ago, Tony Wyatt let go of drugs and let God take over. His prison ministry proves people can change.
If you got people in North Baton Rouge that don't even know how it look over on Segan and over on Perkins Road, they don't even know how it look because their mind is so shackled to their neighborhood. They're in a 8-block radius. They don't even know anything outside of that.
And prosecutor Tony Clayton sees a solution also in education.
It wasn't until the advent of the 60s and the 70s and when all these welfare programs came in, these entitlement programs, that you started to see a detachment of sorts of the black family. And there's a direct correlation that if you educate me as a young African American, then you're not going to see me in the court system. Direct correlation. I can't recall prosecuting anyone with a college degree for murder.
They're going to have to realize that you have to love each other, that regardless to the conditions that you're in, you have to live with each other, else there'll be a college professor somewhere saying, once upon a time there were black people and this is how they look. But they came into a civil war with themselves and killed each other, because this is actually what's going on in the black community. It's a civil war, but we don't address it as such. We use the words that you use, black on black crime. It's a civil war because they have taken arms against themselves and are actually killing themselves out now.
Even though we find ourselves in these situations where it's poverty here, it's broken homes here, but there is hope. And you have to change your mindset first. The people of God have to come more together and do more in Jesus' name. It's done, brother. And when the enemy try to tell you it ain't, telling me a lie.
This, of course, is a tough problem to solve, but there are people working on it. I'm reminded of one effort underway, a local pastor, Donald Hunter, whose group started with actually cleaning up their neighborhood to make it less attractive to criminals, and putting in something just as simple as street lights to kind of light up their neighborhood, to literally shine light on things, hopefully to reduce crime in general. That's their goal. But in producing this story, I could tell you over and over, I heard it starts at home. For the investigators, I'm Greg Meriwether, WAFB 9 News.